Welcome everyone to today's episode where we are diving into the heart of PMO transformations in the modern business landscape, guided by the insights of our guest and book contributor, Javier Rodriguez. We will navigate through the intricacies of implementing PMO within a thriving agile software development company, exploring the vital steps and challenges encountered in fostering a culture that bridges the gap between rapid growth and sustainable internal process. Let's go. Hi, Javier. Thank you very much for joining me today for the podcast related to our book writing challenge, Rise of the Chief Project Officer and the Evolution of the PMO. Welcome.
Thank you to you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm very happy also for the opportunity to collaborate with the book. And well, if there is something interesting that I can share with you and with the audience, more than happy to collaborate.
Absolutely. I have many questions to you. My first one, how did you heard about the challenge and why you decided to contribute your time and knowledge to this book?
The book, well, actually, this is something that, well, normally in parallel to my normal activities at work, for many years I have been collaborating with business schools, teaching specifics on PMO. Currently, I have a couple of lessons this year on PMO and also on general project management. So sharing what I know or my experiences with others is something that I like. And when I saw in LinkedIn, I think the opportunity to collaborate with the book, well, I didn't have to think twice and to collaborate. And if there is, as I said, if there is anything from my experience or my work that I can help others to collaborate or to think about, more than happy.
Thank you very much. It was very exciting for us that you decided to contribute and to not just skip our post. So my question is related to your chapter. So you wrote about the PMO challenges. So could you describe the specific science and effects of lacking a solid foundation in internal processes and procedures in your company before implementing the PMO?
Sure. Look, this was very interesting because actually this is something that I did as a kind of side job because it was a consultant opportunity that came to me through a very good friend. And what I liked of this job was, let's say, the merge of something that could seem to be different worlds, because maybe some people could think that the PMOs are more related to traditional approaches, to predictive approaches for project management, very well applicable in very well established companies. And on the other hand, you know that some people think that software development is itself a very particular case of projects where the scope is very open, where the requirements are not very well defined at the very beginning. And what motivated me was that I received the request from this company to help them to put in place something more structured, because they detected that they were performing very well, okay, in terms of financials. So the company was growing, the number of people was increasing, they were hiring people, they were winning more opportunities. And interestingly, what they thought is, hey, maybe we are going too fast. Maybe we are growing up too fast without a solid foundation. Okay, so I had a friend in that company, and he said, well, I know someone who worked together with me, so it was me, in another company, and he thought that that this could be a good opportunity for me, in that case, to help them to establish and to define some good foundations or good practices on project management. And actually, this is what I did. It was extremely productive. I think that I implemented a proposal for PMO in that company. We demonstrated value almost since the very beginning, okay, because this was an effort for several months. And that opportunity made me very happy because when you feel that you are helping others to make better their job, okay, so that is something that is a kind of satisfaction. And after that, when I finished that collaboration, I thought that maybe these different worlds, I mean, the traditional approaches and the adaptive approaches or the agile approaches, maybe they are not so far, okay? Because what I realized is that actually if you consider the implementation of the PMO in this company as a proper project, okay, in fact, we did this implementation of the PMO in a quite agile approach, because we did it in several iterations. We had feedback, we had lessons learned, we had retrospectives, and we did it also very, very incrementally. Okay, so the amount of value that we provided at the very beginning, so very beginning, I mean in the first month, was quite limited compared with the building that we were able to build after the first 6 or 7 months. So what I liked of this approach was exactly that, to see the link between these traditional approaches and these agile approaches. And it was perfect in this software development company, because typically, you know that software development is a very particular kind of projects which seem to be much more related to these agile approaches.
I see. And my heart was melting when you mentioned agile, because my main background is agile coaching, not the PMO. Combination of the PMO and agile is always where my heart in. And I also like when you mentioned that the company owners realize that they are moving too fast without having the solid foundation. That is so rare when people realize it. Normally it's the opposite. When I consult the companies, they ask me how they can move faster. And when you start evaluating the company, it appears that they don't have solid foundation. And then people believe, like, why would we spend so much time on solid foundation?
Well, but if you think, I think it is a very clever approach from the management of this company, because they were performing well, okay, but the questions that the CEO make himself was, hey, but maybe this is something temporary. Maybe we don't renew some of the key contracts that we have, or maybe we are losing some business. So what to do in those cases? They thought that the PMO could help in that area. Actually, one of the things that they didn't know very well was, hey, so you mean, in this kind of companies, you have a balance of projects. So, and what they knew was that the company was performing well in general, but they didn't know exactly if some projects were compensating other projects. So maybe in general you can be performing well, okay, but maybe some projects are performing extremely well and they are compensating other projects where you are losing money. So this could happen. So the concern of the management in this case, what could happen if we lose the projects where we are, or if we don't renew the projects with customers where we are very profitable. Okay, so that's why I think this was a very, very clever approach, and interestingly, they thought that a proper PMO could help with this. Could help to provide value or to provide a solution for a very specific issue that they had. And I think this is a very good example of one of the things that a PMO could help or could do.
Absolutely. And very good example of management and leadership, because normally the situation is the opposite. Yeah. Normally we need to have a buy-in from the management. And that's how I'm leading to my next question to you. So Javier, can you elaborate on the strategies that were most effective in securing buy-in from development teams and leadership for the PMO? And how would you address their concerns?
Look, it is a kind of anecdote also related to this project. In one of my first interviews with the CEO, I was very well prepared to the meeting, and I said, I have the clear idea about what you need. So we will do this, and this. So quite well explained. And one thing that he told me is, hey, don't go so fast. You came the first day where I will introduce you to the development teams. And your first initiative is just to present a lot of templates, a lot of processes, a lot of things to change. Forget about it, okay? Because we are human beings. This will create probably counter reaction from the development teams. And something that we must have very, very clear in mind is that PMOs in general can only succeed if they provide value. And it doesn't matter if the PMO has the strong support by the CEO. Okay, so that is certainly needed. So any PMO would certainly need the support from and the appointment from the CEO, okay? But normally, the success of the PMO will not only depend on that. The success of the PMO will depend on those people, in this case, the development teams, and that need to put in place your good practices, your lessons learned, your experience in order to help you to succeed. Otherwise, this is a ticket for failure. Okay, and in this meeting with the CEO, what he told me is, no, okay, let's do the things step by step. I don't mind if we take 1 or 2 months to cover all the list of things that you want to do. Okay, we will go through them, but doing it slowly or step by step, this will also help us to get the feedback from the development teams, okay, because we need it. And maybe we will realize that some of the things in your list are not really needed or maybe not applicable to the context of the company. And maybe, and the opposite, and maybe we will discover new things. The development teams will demand you from the PMO if they really see value in the things that we are doing. And actually, this is a big lesson learned from this CEO, and this is exactly how we did it. And I can tell you that not all the things in my initial list were finally implemented. Okay, some of them were not perceived as value added, so we didn't do it. And the opposite, there are many things that we implemented just capturing the feedback from the development teams. Okay, for instance, they were telling you, hey, now that we have implemented this process to monitor in some way the costs of the projects, okay, let's do something similar, but also for the margin. Okay, sometimes the margin or the gross margin is something not very well or not covered by the standard literature like the PIN book or other text. Okay, so this is something that that came from the development teams. Why? Because they were perceiving value in what we were delivering. And this is, in my view, this is the best way to get the buy-in from the development teams. Because otherwise, I think that PMOs are in the hands totally of the project teams or the development teams in this case. So that buy-in from them is absolutely essential in my view.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Javier. And my last question for you today, definitely I have way more questions, but I hope you will join me for the future podcast. So
more than happy.
Let's reflect on your journey, because it looks like you have lots of experience and lots to say. So what would you advise for like junior project managers or a team who is just trying to implement the PMO in their organization first time? And what advice would you give the organization as well, who is trying to implement PMO?
Okay, so from the organization point of view, I think that the first thing to clarify is we are talking about PMO, but what do you mean with PMO? And I will tell you what I mean by PMO, okay? Because it is a quite broad word, right? Or a quite broad term that could mean many different things. So we know about the different types of PMOs. They could be more strategic or more operative. So the first thing would be, in my view, to understand from the sponsor or from the management, what do you expect to achieve with the PMO? In the example that I told you, that was very, very clear. And then, so that would be one advice. Okay, so let's clarify the terms, or what do you understand by PMO, and let's see what you mean when you talk about PMO. So let's talk openly about what you expect, and then let's see how to get it. Okay, so that is one thing from the top down. But from the bottom up, I think that the advices or the experiences that I share from this experience on this company are really valuable. Okay, so one of the things is, one advice would be, okay, even you have just obtained your certification, or even if you have just attended, I don't know, some PMO training, okay, be humble, okay? Don't try to do everything since the very beginning. The risk of being perceived as just another bureaucratic function with no value that only require us to fill templates that who knows why, because I don't understand why they need this. Okay, so this is a big risk. Okay, so don't fall in that risk. Don't try to change everything since the very beginning. Talk to the people, okay? Try to get which are their pain points, okay? Maybe you cannot fix all of them, but for instance, you can try to define the situation as a trade-off. So you can say, okay, I can help you with some things, reporting, consolidation of data, project management tools. Okay, I can help you with something. Okay, but please, I would need your support with something. So talk to the people, understand their pain points in their day-to-day activities, and always have in mind that the PMO is a servant of the other people. Otherwise, they will never feel engaged with the PMO. They will not understand why the PMO is needed. Okay, especially if the projects are working well. So why do we need to report this or to follow this process or to use this template or whatever? Okay, so think or have always in mind that you are here for the PMO to help them, to help the project teams succeed and to achieve their goals. And with this, both views, so from the management point of view and from the development teams, well, there are good chances to show the value that the PMOs, I am fully convinced that the PMOs can provide.
Thank you very much, Javier. I really like your answer. Let's first define what PMO is, even like the letter P. We can have another 1 hour podcast talking about what PMO. So, and me as a coach, that's my question number 1. When people try to implement something first, let's talk about the vocabulary. What do you understand about that?
Exactly.
And people would have 10 different understandings. So let's align on that first. And then what problem are we solving, like from the organizational perspective?
Exactly.
Perspective. It's not like something fancy again. Agile became something fancy, and so people feel like we need to move to the agile direction just because everybody else is moving without knowing what problems they're solving. And I feel similar situation with PMO. PMO is becoming fancy as well. So why not to have a project or portfolio or whatever else P means office and solve the problem? But then the next question is, what problem are we solving? And nobody has
Exactly. And well, all this is so again, going to my first comment, I don't think at all that the PMOs are from traditional approaches and something different are from agile approaches. Okay, actually, if you read the literature, you will see that PMOs are not very appropriate for companies working in agile mode. And instead of having a PMO, they should have an agile office or center of experience. Or I am not so fan of those things. So for me, PMO is perfectly valid. Okay, unless someone considers that it is old-fashioned, that I don't think at all. Okay, but the term is not important. The important thing is what it is behind.
Exactly. And on this note, unfortunately, we have to finish our podcast. Thank you very much, Javier, and looking forward to you in our next sessions.
Thank you to you, and really, I will be really happy to keep on collaborating. Thank you to you.
Thank you, and everyone who's been listening to us, see you in our next episode. Take care. As a wrap up today's episode, I'd like to express my gratitude to Javier Rodriguez for his invaluable contributions and for sharing his deep knowledge with us. His perspectives on the journey of PMO implementation within a dynamic and growing software company have illuminated the complexities and rewards of fostering project management culture. And to our listeners, thank you very much for joining us on this enlightening journey. We hope you found today's discussion both informative and inspiring. Stay tuned for more enriching conversations in our upcoming episodes. Until next time, take care.